Welcome, everyone. We're going to begin the webinar on Fusor sealing and sound control. I'm Melissa Jules with RDA Impact. Dennis Beardsley, North American Training Manager for Saint-Gobain, is your presenter today. The presentation will take approximately 20 to 25 minutes. We are recording it and we'll make it available to everyone in attendance today. If you have questions, you can type them in the chat box at the bottom right of your screen, and they will be answered during the presentation. Now I'll turn it over to Dennis.
Thanks so much, Melissa. Super excited to talk about sealing and sound control. This is a great subject to talk about, just not seam sealer, but how to get the different textures. We do a lot of these lunch and learns for shops. Some are interested in being ICAR Gold certified. Some just want to learn this information to be able to duplicate the seam sealers that are around the cars that we're trying to duplicate out there. We are a sustaining partner, which means that if we do a lunch and learn at your facility, we can get you contact hours or go towards your ICAR Gold class. So, of course, proper safe use of products, different adhesives and chemistries, proper storage, selecting the right seam sealer for the right job, foams, sound control applications, and characteristics of direct to metal and not direct to metal. So we get into chemistries. So there's 4 chemistries with seam sealers, metal bonding, and plastic, right? There's acrylic, urethane, epoxy, and silane terminated polymer, or STP technology. Right? So with acrylics, they love bare metal. They love sticking to bare metal. They're very good with anti-corrosion properties, fast curing, and they cure. When they cure, they change in color and appearance. Epoxies bonds bare metals. You can see their plastics, very low odor, where acrylic will have an odor to it. You can accelerate it with heat if you wanted to, and excellent sandability if you needed to do that. Urethanes, very flexible. They bond. They work really good with plastics. If are moisture sensitive, as we're coming to the summer months here, that's important. Silane terminated polymer bonds metals, different metals, no isocyanates, no HAPs or hazardous air pollutants, and low VOCs because there isn't any in there. Always remember PPE, right? Gloves, glasses, respirator when needed. You want to have a clean work environment. If you do get that, any of those materials in your eyes, you want to flush immediately and consult your SDS sheets. So key points here. You want to store all of these seam sealers between 60 and 80 degrees, right? Some have, a lot of them have packaging. You don't want to open that packaging until you're ready to use it. You want to make sure the tips, except for foams, so you want to make sure the tips are left on the partially used container. All right. With foam, either a rigid foam or a flexible foam, when you're done applying it, you want to take it off and put the plunger back in there, because what will happen is the foam will expand that way, and then it'll go back into the tube and then expand into the tube. That makes one heck of a mess. All right, different equipment. Actually, one new one here. This one right here is our new Fusor gun right here. Pretty cool. Pneumatic gun. Of course, we have manual guns right here. And we have the 210 milliliter cartridge. As you see here, we used to have the bigger 300 milliliter cartridges. We moved to the 210. They're smaller guns. This is so important. We've had adhesives, and you've heard me talk about it in different trainings we've done together. You want to make sure that you take the cap off, right? Put it in the gun, level the plungers. That means the material has to come out equally before you put the Fusor tip on top of it or thread it in there, okay? You got to make sure that you do that each time. So the next time you grab, let's say this had catalyzed material in it, once you remove the tip, throw it out. Before you put the new one on, you have to level the plungers again, all right? Very, very important to do this. First, we're going to grab our gloves. I like to use a mixing board here. You just want to make sure, and as you see, it's very important to level that out, okay? Then, grab our tip, thread it on, and we want it done now. The length of the tip, just to make sure we have a good mix, and then we're ready to go. Release the back and go. Another key point is we need to look at, we need to be, if we can, 70 degrees. If it gets warmer or cooler, so let's talk about warmer first, for every 20-degree increase in temperature, everything, work time, cure time, is reduced by half, right? So if at 90, you have a work time of 30 minutes, now it's 15 minutes, okay, because everything's cut in half. It also goes the other way. For every every 20-degree decrease in temperature, everything is doubled. So as it gets cooler, right, as fall, winter approach, right, we have to think about, okay, where am I storing this material? Is it on the outer wall, block wall, or are we, or is it in a warm area? Because that's going to matter, right? We want to make sure that we have the correct time. The other thing that's important is right on the back of our tubes, it will tell you, hey, when it was made. This was made April 11th, 2021. And right underneath it says best used within 24 months of manufacture date. So we are good to go. All right. Grabbing the right seam sealer for the job. All right. Well, it depends what you want. Do you need self-leveling? Do we need control flow? Right? Heavy body, thin body? What are we looking for? Are we going to prime the metal, or we're going to use bare metal material? So right here, chart right here on the bottom. So it's color coded too. So anything that has this copper look is going to be a seam sealer or a foam, right? So the first one right here, 123, it's going to tell you, hey, this is going to work real well with bare metal. If you want to use epoxy underneath it, perfectly fine. Right? And then I'll tell you the OEM approvals all the way to the right here. So this one, the 123 would be Honda. The next one would be 123Z, which would need an epoxy underneath it. GM, Ford, Honda, and so on. We also have a 123 medium and a 123 slow, and that is for, depends on how much of a work time that you have. If you're I'm in upstate New York right now, and it's 90 degrees and change. I'm going to want a medium seam sealer, right? As we go along, we're going to look at a control flow, right? Most of our new parts do not have the seam sealer on them that they had prior to the collision. So we're going to have to replicate that, right? So 129, which is the one I leveled here, is one we're going to take a look at. So I'm going to show you some cool tricks. So gun it out here, show you, or I can gun it right here. Right here, please. Okay. Let me grab one of my I'll do the cook and show thing here. Show you how to do this. Right there, you'll see while I'm talking how it rolls right around. Now, how you duplicate that? Take a spreader, grab one of these cards, a hole punch, to your desired width and height of that control flow. Okay. So here, there you go. Or you can use the tape method, which is going to be the preferred, right? So you can take tape on cable. We're going to get it away. You can do this. And if you needed to touch it up at all, just like that. Do it. Okay. So some other options that we have, that's a control flow. We have 123. I'm going to go with the medium. Capo out. I'll level my plungers. Put my tip on. The tip. So our seam sealers come with this right here. This is pretty cool as an option. To duplicate some of these seam sealer appearances that are on the vehicles. So I can just keep feeding it.
Hey, Dennis, we really can only see your back.
I'm sorry. Thank you for saying that. How about that? Much better?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm going to go left-handed. All right, just like that. Or we can change the tip there. Grab my pneumatic option. Okay. I'm going to put tape on the end of it. The reason for the tape is if I want to keep it out of this end here. I'm going to put 2 to 5 psi of air, just like that. Hopefully you can see that well, Melissa. So it depends what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for higher bead right there, go a little faster. Okay. That's around 3 psi. I'll bump it up to 5. We can also slow down the amount of material that's coming out. So like right here, not too much. We get some really nice beads in here. All right. We turn it back. Okay. And where we started from, right here. Pretty cool. Now we can turn this up around 10 psi, and you can spray this thing. You see this on Honda Civics, on the fender. You know, you can mask up in there and roll that off on a nice edge and spray that up. All right, that's a nice way to go. All right. All right. So moving right along. In there. Again, that's our 123 medium. All right. Now, I want to talk about our DTMs. So our DTMs are going to be a little bit slower cure. This is where you would use potentially on a rear body panel, and you would weld seal it. You would actually put seam sealer down and resistant spot weld through it. Okay, see what I'm doing here? Get these nice little beads here.
It would be nice if we could zoom in.
Okay. How about
There you
better?
go. Yes.
So I'll show that again. Appreciate the help. There we go. Okay. Something else that we have in the STP line is sprayable HD. So what we can do here is we can make really cool down deadening pads, right? And yes, it's difficult to do as well. And I'm sure that was loud. All right. Now this tool right here, so you adjust it right here, right there, to your desired you can fill it a little bit there, a little bit more. Okay. Now what you do is you grab your pinking shears right here. Already got it done here, so go on another side. And you comb it. And that'll take, depending on the thickness, 24 hours to fully cure. If you need to go faster, you use a 2-component heat sealer. So now, take your tape off. There you go. The next piece, talk about are the foams. So we have a flexible foam. Okay. We have a flexible foam and we have a rigid foam. Okay. And the rigid, you want to be able to obviously use that where, probably rear body panels. I got a cool slide on that right here. So A-pillars, rockers, quarter panels, and rear body panels is where you're going to use a lot of that material. So Chrysler loves, and Jeep loves to put this material in the rear body panels and quarters. All right. The next product we need to think about is, of course, the flexible foam. All right. Used in door skins, roofs, hoods. So if the material has come loose, you can add more flexible foam in there. And the last piece of this is 231 sound dampening material. All right. What that does is it puts, so if you have a roof skin and you have to reapply the material, so get the foam to stick to the panel without it pushing out or pulling in after a bake. So this product works tremendously well. You apply it to the foam, on top of the foam, and you place it down, and it doesn't push out or pull in. All right, and it's a flexible material, but it's non-expanding foam. Okay? And see it right here. So I have a rigid, flexible, and then I have a 231 product right here that will put our flexible foam back on if needed. All right, really a cool option to have for those different applications that show up. And really key point here is to make sure that it doesn't expand or contract. All right. Is there any questions on what we covered so far?
No questions yet.
Oh, well, this is a fun deal. Showing all these different designs and ways to duplicate these different seam sealers. So if you do have any questions, we're more than happy to help you. I think Melissa will send out my contact information. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Besides that, thanks so much.
Also, Dennis, send me a copy of this presentation.
Absolutely.
All right. And yes, I'll follow up with everybody on here with the presentation, your contact information, and they can reach out to you directly if they do have questions. All right. Thanks
Excellent.
for your time today, everybody. Thanks, Dennis. And we'll be in touch with future training opportunities. Take care.
All right. Thanks. Bye.